right, let's get into another It Takes a Community to Play segment along with our friends at Sport Manitoba, proudly sponsored and brought to you in part by Manitoba Liquor Lotteries. And we head out west, getting ready for this summer's Manitoba Summer Games with Clayton Swanton, the host society co-chair of the event. Clayton, welcome to Winnipeg Sports Talk. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. Thanks for having me.
You know, we spoke with your other co-chair, Carla, about a few months ago, and it was just great to talk to her because you felt the excitement in the community, but also the scope of the event. I imagine you're right there with her and working hard, but really looking forward to what is such a massive event for the young athletes as well as the Parkland region.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Carla's been a great co-chair. Both of us, when we were approached to take this on, it's got to be 6 or 7 years ago now because we had to postpone because of COVID. But we each said, hey, if the other one will do it, I'll join in too. And we've been at it together for a lot of years, and such a great crew below us, helping to fill all of our committees and pull this thing together.
Well, I mean, it's a perfect segment with Sport Manitoba. You know, we call it Takes a Community to Play because of how many hands and how many people are involved helping out pulling these things off. And we'll get to that in a minute. But for folks that maybe missed it, I mean, the Manitoba Summer Games is a very, very special event. And it is a highlight of the athletic careers of many young athletes. Give us just a quick rundown of the scope of the event, who is participating in it, and then we'll sort of get to everything that has to happen on the back end to make it work.
Right. Yeah. So it's a week-long event broken into 2 phases. So from August 11th to the 17th, we are going to host over 1,800 athletes, 900 plus in phase 1. And then Wednesday is our turnaround day where in our community, all 1,800 athletes will be here at the same time because the buses bringing phase 2 in are going to take phase 1 home, right? So, and then you from Wednesday afternoon on till the Saturday, you've got the second phase. So, the scope of it is massive. Having to house that many athletes, we're using the high school for and our middle school for that. You think of that, you got classrooms that have to be completely cleaned out, cots set up, make a living area based on the amount of square footage. You've got to do a bunch of math per room to see who's going to fit where and all that kind of stuff. So that's a whole thing. And then you've got your, I think it's 14 different sports that are going to all get to compete and like you say, some of them that'll be the pinnacle of their sport career.
The 14 different sports, 1,800 athletes. I mean, it's a huge event. What are the ages of the athletes, and does it vary from sport to sport, or is it pretty consistent?
Yeah, it varies from sport to sport, and it depends. Every sport gets to kind of pick what development age they're working towards. Some are saying, well, look, this is going to be a lead into a Canada game, so this segment of athlete is what we want to focus on. But I think you might have some athletes as young as 10 and up to 17. That's kind of the range. But every sport's going to be different on how they want to use it as sport development.
I imagine that amongst the youngsters in Dauphin and Clear Lake and that whole area, a particular amount of buzz amongst those young kids who might be able to participate as home athletes, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be really exciting for those kids for sure, right? Like if you're getting to participate in the Manitoba Summer Games in your home community and you've got everybody there, the volunteers, them all and all the rest of it, it's got to be a totally different vibe, right? So it's exciting for every athlete to get selected, but we as a host community are certainly excited to watch the selection process unravel over the next couple of months and see who gets picked for what.
Well, and of course, there's a lot of work being done by the athletes to try to qualify and be a part of this big event. The work is continuing with you and your group on making this thing happen and being ready for them all. Give us an idea about the scope of how important volunteers are to an event like this and the scope of the needs and opportunities for people to come in and make a difference in such a big event and helping something that is such a highlight for so many youngsters in their athletic careers.
Yeah, I mean the volunteer committee is that's such a massive undertaking. Our co-chairs and that committee that stepped up to take that, we're so appreciative because it's going to take about 1,200 volunteers, anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500, as they work through their workforce schedule and see where they need people and when. But you think of Dauphin as a community, as a city itself, is 8,500 people. I think at one point we might have been a little more, but I think that's a good range of where we're at. And then so you think of 1,200 people, that is more than 10% of your entire population has to be involved on Games Week to pull this thing off, right? So of course we have a much larger trading area. We Dauphin services an area of 40 to 50,000 people, and we're drawing on everybody. And but it's a huge undertaking to get everybody signed up and their criminal record checks done if that's a requirement for their role, and then assigning them their particular area and all that kind of thing. It's a massive undertaking.
As important as it is to have those volunteers, we have heard this over and over again in similar segments we've done with Sport Manitoba about the value to the volunteers of being part of an event like that. I mean, I know you're still working to fill everyone and get things done up, but through your experience in previous events and knowing what it is, how rewarding is it for the people that decide, what, I'll come in and I'll give some of my time to help some of this come out, and their feelings about spending that time doing it after the fact, being part of such an event that means so much to so many.
Yeah, and then you nailed it. It's that feeling you get from giving back to your community, right? Like, everybody who's on the org chart understands that when you give back your time to your community, it has such a long lasting impact, especially from an event like this, right? So we still have people every time the games come up. Oh, I remember volunteering in 2004, the last time Dauphin hosted, and that comes up. We're 20 years later, right? And that's still a highlight of their volunteerism careers, right? So we're really excited about exposing our younger citizens to an event of this size, and what they might get their first sense of a 4-hour shift at a volunteering and say, like, wow, that was really enjoyable. Didn't expect that, right? So that's Dauphin's really good at pulling together volunteers, and you nailed it. It's that great feeling you get from knowing that you've given back.
Clayton Swanton's the host society co-chair for the upcoming Manitoba Summer Games this August in Dauphin and out in the western part of the province. Clayton, we talked about the benefits of volunteering and how important it is to get the volunteers to pull this thing off. Certainly, I know you guys are doing a lot in the community to get volunteers, but for people that might be from the city but spend time out there in the summer, what sort of opportunities are there available? What are you looking for? And how do people find out more about, what their schedule might permit them to come and, work out there at the event, popping in and out for a week?
Yeah, that's a great point. We've got, you think of how many people summer in Clear Lake, 45 minutes away. They camp there in the summer anyways, and there's all kinds of campgrounds around here. They might choose to do a week out here. If they're interested in volunteering, they can go to the Sport Manitoba's Manitoba Summer Games website, and there's an easy link on there to get signed up. And then you could be specific about, I want to help at golf, right? You can just say, hey, I'm easy, just let me know what's available, and I'll let you know closer to what my schedule allows, right? So the main thing for us right now is just getting names in the database, and we can figure the rest out later. But it's important for us right now, just if you're at all interested, just to get yourself signed up there, and then we can figure out the rest after that.
In addition to, the obvious needs for volunteers and the planning and everything that's going on, I can't imagine how many meetings you're involved in right now and how many people are involved. But you're also looking to raise funds for the event. And the 50-50 draw that you guys have put together is pretty interesting because it's actually open right now. There's multiple draws leading up to it. And then I'm sure it'll be a big part of fundraising during the event. Fill people in on that 50-50 project that you've got that's actually open right now.
Yeah, we like you say, it does, the The scope of the budget of trying to make this thing happen means that, we've got to do some revenue generation. So the 50-50 is a great way to do that. It's fun. It helps us build excitement leading into the games. So we've opened that just recently for our first draw, which is going to be April 11th. And then we'll have multiple draws leading up to the games as we hit particular milestones with how many days out from the games we are. And we've attached a progressive on there. So every time we do a draw, part of the pot goes back to that progressive as well. So, games week, this pot could be pretty exciting, and games week will obviously be a big one for us, but leading in, it's kind of a way for us to build some excitement and give, we hope people are, most people at this point are familiar with funding change, and they've done it for, their kids' hockey or whatever, right? So they've already got an account built in. So if you go to funding change, you've got the address up there, and search for Manitoba Games, you'll find us, and we'll be doing a bunch of promo of that in the near future.
Yeah, we'll throw that in the chat right now if you want to, grab a ticket that, is good for the entire running of the event. And if you're watching this after the fact, check the description. We'll have a link in the description along with the Manitoba Summer Games on how you can find out more about volunteering, being involved in the event, or supporting the event through the 50-50 draw. Clayton, I did want to talk just before we go. I mean, our focus is trying to, let people know about this event and, hopefully help generate some more interest and some more bodies to help you guys put on a first-class, world-class event for all the young Manitobans that'll be participating. But from your perspective as part of the host chair that's born and raised in a community like Dauphin, hosting an event like this is massive for it for so many reasons, but there are also long-lasting effects. Like, what do you hope the legacy of the Manitoba Games will be for your community and the young athletes and families, basically, long beyond the middle of August when all the athletes go home with their medals?
Yeah, well, I can speak to it from my perspective. I said yes to the co-chair role because I knew that this was a prime opportunity to upgrade all of our sports facilities in our community. If you host a games, you've got to be polished. You've got to meet every sports standards, all those kinds of things. So to me, it felt like a great way to give back to my community by doing it this way. When we first were awarded the games, my daughter had just been born. She's now 6 years old, and these facilities that we're creating now, she's going to get the benefit from for the next, her entire schooling life and time in Dauphin. And so for me, that was huge. And, some examples of the capital projects that we had to do was, we didn't have a mountain bike facility. Mountain biking was one of the sports. So instead of just creating a 4-kilometer cycling track, we partnered with another local organization, created the Dauphin Derailers Cycle Club out of it, and we've got Northgate Community Trails, which is 26 kilometers of world-class facilities. And if it wasn't for hosting the games, we wouldn't have been able to spearhead that project, give them the seed money to make the plan, and then that club just ran with it. And they've created such an economic driver for our region that if it wasn't for the games, that just wouldn't have happened, right? And we're doing the same thing now this time around as we get ready for 2024 with our high school track. It was built for the 2004 games. It's run, that asphalt has ran its life cycle, and it needs to be redone. So that's another massive legacy that we're going to get to leave behind when the games are gone. We've got another generation that gets to experience a first-class track. So
just another benefit of, of volunteering for events like this, because you see what events like this do for the community well into the future beyond the big couple weeks that will be taking over. And man, it's going to be fun and wild to see so many young athletes there doing what they do, looking to win medals, and most importantly, have an incredible athletic experience with the village and meeting others. There really is nothing like it every summer. All the best moving forward. Again, folks, you can go to the Sport Manitoba website and find out more on the Manitoba Games. We'll put the link in the description with volunteering opportunities. We certainly encourage you to find out more if you're able to spend some time making it happen. And Clayton, in the meantime, best of luck to you and Carla and the entire community getting ready for 1,800 young Manitobans chasing their dreams at the Manitoba Summer Games this summer.
Excellent. Thanks so much for all your promotion and support.